Hey guys, I'm Random Vaughn, and this video is around what you need to know before applying for an alternative treatment center, aka dispensary. So guys, the bill recently was signed by the governor. As of the recording of this, we're a couple days away from when applications are actually going to drop. So I'm giving you things that you should be working on today to be prepared, because this application process for New Jersey is crazy. So to give you a little context, the law that went into effect was called the Jake Honage Compassionate Use Medical Cannabis Act. And if you want to get a read the entire thing, it's about 130 pages. The link is down below. We already looked that up. I always recommend that if you're going to get into this industry, you need to read the actual law. So yeah, it's 130 pages. It's pretty dry, but I highly recommend you reading that. But today what we're going over is it's a 14-page document put out by the health department. The Department of Health is who is controlling this entire thing going on in New Jersey. And so guys, I am going to be accessing some things and looking at it because this is so dense that I don't want you to miss anything. But to start off with, there are definitions in this thing. There are general information. We're going to be skipping past a lot of that. There's also the regions. I'm sure other people are going to post up what region your locations need to be in and how many opportunities for either a cultivation center, aka a grow facility, a dispensary, and then something that's like vertical, and what those opportunities are going to put themselves out. We are in this video talking about you preparing yourself to apply for a dispensary. Now, the reason we are talking about how to apply for dispensaries because, number one, that's the most number of licenses that you can potentially win. You can have up to 3, so you can apply to 3. But guess what, guys? To apply for 3, you would need 3 separate locations, and so you're definitely going to need to take that into consideration of the work you need to do right now. You already got to have those lined up and some other things, and so that's why we're doing this video, because I think this information is something people really need to know. And if you're talking to even cannabis attorneys, they may miss some of this stuff, because this application process for New Jersey is so different than a lot of the other states and even provinces wherever you have been doing stuff. So once again, there is a small section in this about eligibility. We're going to be skipping over that. I recommend reading it. Now we're jumping into the application. Now, they get so detailed in this thing of it better be 12-point Times New Roman on 8.5 by 11 page paper, and you better have it as a PDF that works with their thing. So they are looking for any reason to disqualify you. But you sit there and go, wait, why does it need to be 8 by 11, all this kind of stuff? Isn't it just an application like I'm filling out their application? Well, get ready, guys, because that is the big difference than if you'd applied in, let's say, Washington, Colorado, all these other places. You are going to be doing a lot of writing. So I actually have it also typed out here or printed out here for me, because I want you to realize that the short end of this is there's a Part A and a Part B. And the big thing is for the Part A is it's really short, where it basically says, hey, we're going to put out an application and you got to fill that out. So I want you to realize for Part A, that application hasn't even been dropped as of the recording of this. That's going to come out on the 15th of July, 2019. And that's just basically, fill stuff in, put your name in it, all those kind of general information that they're going to ask you. And then, this is the big difference, is New Jersey is all going to be about a point system. And so that's what we're going to be going over, is all the points and what you need to do and prepare for dealing with all these points. So let's just real quick, just so that no one misses it. It literally says, application Part A, applicants shall answer each question in full and to the best of their ability. If a particular question does not apply to your application, you can put NA is not applicable in the top line of the section, blah. That's literally it. That's literally all they put out for Part A. We have no idea what questions are going to be on there, how long it's going to be, all those kind of things. So let's dive into Part B, because it literally, the best part about Part B, if you have gone into a different type of application, is they put a limit of 100 pages. And you're like, well, that's not going to be hard. We're never going to hit 100 pages. There are going to be tons of people that literally are submitting applications that are 98, 99 pages. And so if you are thinking about applying for this, that is the mindset you now need to have, is realizing that you are creating the best college essay you've ever written. So in the part that we go into next is around capital. So you're going to have to cut 2 checks to New Jersey, the Treasury Department, not the Department of Health, but to the Treasury Department. And they don't actually want them to be cashier's checks, and here's why. You're going to give them a check for $18,000, and another check for $2,000. The $2,000 is the non-refundable. It is they're taking that money to process these applications. The $18,000 check is just going to sit there, and they're just going to destroy it. They're not going to send it back to you. And so if it's a cashier's check, that's a real big headache because your bank will have already taken those funds out and put them into the cashier's check. And then once it's destroyed, that's a big headache. So don't send a cashier's check. They just want you to mail a normal standard business check or personal check if you are applying as an individual. So once again, make sure that that's 2 checks. But let's dive down now into the point system. And I am going to be referencing down to these pages as well as the computer screen. So one other fun fact why we thought we'd do this video is in big, bold letters. They actually say on page 7, I don't know if you can read that, but it literally says, phone inquiries will not be accepted. They are not answering the phone at all. You can't answer any. They will only take things by email, and good luck on that. So what they're really wanting to do is not have to answer your questions, make you get an attorney, and deal with as little people as possible. So they did give a timeline when things are going to drop. Like I said, July 1st, this is where we're kind of in this time frame between July 1st and July 15th. Forms are going to be posted. That Part A should be posted on the 15th. And then there's going to be a pre-application webinar on August 2nd. If you're waiting to not do anything until August 2nd, man, you're going to be so far behind, I don't think you'll have a chance to catch up. And then basically submission deadline for dispensary applications is August 21st, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then for some reason, I don't actually know why they do it, they give an extra day for submission deadlines for cultivation and vertically integrated applications. So you get to August 22nd, 2019 by 3 p.m. So if you're going to be doing one of those, awesome, great. So guys, let's get down into the part that I know you're most interested in, and it's what is going on with the points, the criteria, how's it all going to be weighed. So if you have this in front of you or if you already accessed it, because once again, we're putting the link to these documents down below, go to page 9. That's where I'm jumping on. So it's Part A, mandatory information, and I'm going to be referencing a little bit here. So one, obviously, legal name. This is what I'm talking about. This is going to come out, and it's going to be forms that you're going to be filling in. Documents to validate your business registration certificate. You're going to have that as you're going to get it into a PDF so that you can attach it. A list of names and address and date of birth of the proposed alternative treatment center, employees, principal officers, directors, owners, and board members. Now, the one thing I would say here is, guys, don't just put down all the people that you think you're going to hire and those kind of things. Be a little considerate around this of like, hey, these are maybe going to be your board of directors, you as the owner, those kind of things. I wouldn't get into like, just obviously be, hey, we're going to hire employees when we get to that stage. We haven't started interviewing people yet. You want to really put principles that are going to add something to your application. Number 4 is a list of all persons or business entities having direct or indirect authority over the management or policies of the ATC. The Alternative Treatment Center is what ATC stands for. So you're going to have to list that. None of this is just general information that you need to get into it. This doesn't have or include the point system. So I'm going to try and go through this quickly. Number 5, list of all persons or business entities having 5% or more ownership. So they are, once again, right there, confirming what does ownership entail, how small, because some people are going to sell 1% of these businesses to try and raise capital. And so you don't have to list all the way down to those minute parts. Or if you were a publicly traded company, then you wouldn't have to do those kind of things. The identity of all creditors holding a security interest in the applicant or premise, if any. So if you have a landlord and he has a loan, you may need to actually talk to your landlord and get them to disclose that information. In case they have a private loan, that's something that's going to be coming up in the background. The bylaws and a list of the members of the ATC Medical Advisory Board. So once again, this kind of comes into your board of directors or advisory board. This is something that very rarely have we seen on other states' applications. And so basically Section 7 is kind of also indicating to you, you probably better make a medical advisory board and put some people on it so that you can put that in there if you haven't been doing that. And you're like, I'm just going to be a sole proprietor and I'm just submitting my application as my name, Jim. They want people to have structure and be ready to go. They're not fooling around. And therefore, if they think that you are just doing this kind of by the seat of your pants, they're not going to take your application seriously. Number 8, evidence that the principal, directors, board members, owners, and employees will cooperate with a criminal history record background check, and they list the law requiring that. That's obviously letting you know that you're going to have a background check and you better pass it. To my knowledge, they haven't put out, unless it was in the previous law, what would have you if it pops up in your background check where you're going to get denied. So if you are a person or you have other people that are potentially on your board that could have background check issues, make sure that you find out exactly what those are. So you can go and pull a background check on yourself. That's actually kind of smart to do. We have had people in the past where they just pull one themselves and attach it to the application. And so we are recommending that you do that. It's very little money considering you're already spending $2,000 on this application to pull a background check and just include it. And then guess what? If there's any discrepancy between their background check and yours, you at least have a foot to stand on and saying, hey, I tried to give you guys everything. Number 9, the mailing and physical address of the proposed alternative treatment center and evidence of ownership or lease of the proposed site. This is the one which we were just talking about earlier. If you're going to apply and you get a chance to apply for 3 locations, you have to have that. You have to have a right to move in there. They only are going to license places based off a location and based off your application. And so if you don't have that, just stop. Don't even submit this thing. And so that's why we're doing this video now, is because if you haven't already secured those 3 locations, you need to be working on that right now. Okay, here is the big kicker that I think most people are going to miss. So this is the number 1 thing I'm going to put on my top 5 list of things that you probably missed when reviewing this. It's number 10, and it goes written verification of the approval of the community or governing body of the municipality in which the alternative treatment center is or will be located. Okay, what did I just say there, guys? That literally means you need to get written verification of approval from the city, county, or wherever you're located. I don't think I've seen an application process which required that before you applied. So if you come and it's August 21st and you've signed your lease, you're even put a deposit down, you're paying rent, all these kind of things, but you haven't gone to your city and gotten approval from them, no bueno. The big reason why this is written here is because the health department has given basically no zoning requirements. They have not written into their laws of saying, hey, you got to be 1,000 feet from this or 500 feet from this. They're letting every city and county determine that on their own. And so they're just sitting back and saying, hey, you got to go get a written verification from them saying that, yep, they're okay with it and your location meets their requirements. So you have to, over the next 30 days, guys, you have to get that done. And guess what? In some of these, if you know New Jersey, some of these cities, townships, counties literally have their zoning planning person only works 1 day a week. So guys, that's why we're doing this video, is you got to get out and start getting on this, or the application process is going to close while you were still working on it. Okay, flipping over, we're now on page 10. This is number 11. Evidence of compliance with local code and ordinances, including but not limited to the distance to the closest school, church, temple, or other places used exclusively for religious worship, or a playground, park, or children daycare facility from an alternative treatment center. So guess what, guys? They're putting something in general, so they're going to want to see those distances. You're going to want to fill that out and give them that information, but really your city in your getting your written notification, hopefully your city already includes that. But guess what? A city could say, we've created no rules, and so they may give you a written verification. The health department's still going to want to know the distances because they may by themselves decide that you're too close to a child daycare center, even though your city said it was fine. So it's totally up in the air on exactly how that's going to play out. Number 12, text and graphic materials showing the exterior appearance of the ATC and its site compatibility with commercial structures already structured or under construction within the immediate neighborhood. So guys, this happened in British Columbia, where they literally need you to get a graphic designer, or I hope you have some graphic designer skills, of showing what you want your signage to look like on the outside of it. So you need to get photos, probably outside, show how your signage is going to look, all those kind of things. And I would definitely recommend, if you're doing that, make sure your signage is compliant with local ordinances of that area. I don't know how much the health department is going to get in on that. But basically, you better make sure it looks nice and not a big giant eyesore, or they're just going to turn down your application. 13 is floor plan of the approved ATC. You're going to have a detailed floor plan. We have other videos showing you guys how we do that and how I recommend you do that, because you can do it on the cheap. But guess what, guys? It's apps in the App Store. It makes floor planning really easy, but it allows you to literally lay things out, show where your security cameras are going to be, show where your fixtures are going to be, show where you're going to keep the cannabis safe and secure. So that's number 13. Number 14, all proposed or actual contracts, term sheets, or other agreements relating to management, intellectual property, real estate, equity in, or funds of the proposed ATC. So guys, basically there's a catch-all of saying, hey, anything that you are doing to have somebody else run this, if you're just applying and you don't want to be the operator, which once again, a lot of people come in with money and they just want to apply. They want to win that lottery ticket. This is where they're saying, okay, who is actually going to run it? And are you going to have a franchise? Are you licensing? Because once again, a lot of companies like ours, we apply all over the place. Now, we're very open about how we apply, so we fill these things out so that they know, like, hey, we're hiring local people. We got veterans locally who are going to participate with us. We have minorities who are participating with us. We are working in the community to make this thing better, but you got to spell that out. Okay, guys, now we're getting on to Part B, which is scored criteria. And this, I'm just letting you know, it may cause you to laugh a couple times, and I'm going to try and keep my laughter to a small little bit, but I do want to just go over each part. So once again, big thing is for Part B, max is 100 pages, and it still has to be 12-point, Times New Roman, and on 8x11 sheets of paper. So get ready for that. Now, criteria 1, once again, I'm on page 10 here, guys. The ability to meet the overall health needs of qualified patients and the safety of the public is 30 points. So you have to, just in general, by writing just words, describe that about your ability or your team's ability of how you're going to do that. So they're trying to give a little bit more guidance in here because that's real general, right? Security plan. The applicant shall provide an acceptable safety and security plan, including staffing and site plan, and a detailed description of the proposed security and safety measures which demonstrate compliance with the rules, and then it's listed. So obviously you should read those rules. Here's something that I'm just going to let you guys know that we're still deciding on. Are you going to say that you're going to have on-site security at all times? Is that an expense you're willing to take to give yourself the leg up in the application? It's something that we're still deciding. We've always felt not having a doorman met more with our culture of being inviting, not having it feel like a prison or something like that. But they're making it very kind of heavy-handed here, saying, hey, they want to know exactly when they say, including staffing and site plan, we have to all take that into consideration. So that's a choice you're going to have to make. Measure 2, environmental impact plan. The applicant shall provide a plan explaining how the proposed ATC would minimize negative environmental impact, and that's 10 points. So once again, measure 1 was 10 points. This measure 2 is 10 points. So once again, environmental impact is not talking about global warming in this situation, guys. They are talking about litter or break-ins or trash around the community from people taking the packagings or whatever. I mean, like, they can have that be so general. So once again, like I said, get ready, start writing. If you're confused by these things and you really want to apply, you may want to talk to an attorney. But guess what? This is probably brand new for them. And I don't know any attorneys that are doing like kind of a inclusive sum total bill. Just doing that section could be tens to 20s of hours of an attorney's time, and they're billing $200, $300, $400, $500 an hour. So that's something that you probably are going to have to at least do the first draft, or your team is going to have to do the draft on this. Measure 3, quality control and quality assurance plan. The applicant shall provide a quality control and quality assurance plan that illustrates how the proposed ATC will maintain and verify product quality and protect the health and well-being of qualified patients. 10 points. I believe this section is really talking about the testing and the testing that you're going to have and do, and so you're really kind of doing more standard operating procedures, because once again, in New Jersey, you can be vertically integrated. And so if you can be vertically integrated, you obviously could grow it and then put it directly on a shelf with no quality control, and so they want you to explain how you're going to do that. Okay, we're getting into now part 2, history of compliance with regulations and policies governing government-regulated marijuana programs, 20 points. Guys, this is the big one that, as I said, if you read that and you just realize, wait, there's in New Jersey, if you lived in New Jersey, you've only lived in a state where it's totally illegal, people are getting prosecuted, and there's only like 5 or 6 actual, alternative treatment centers right now. So how are you supposed to have all this history of being able to be compliant? So let's just read it. It's measure 1. Background of principals, board members, and owners. Applicants shall provide an overview of experience of principals, officers, and owners in operating a regulated cannabis business or operating a business in another highly regulated industry, such as healthcare, insurance, financial services, pharmaceuticals, or energy, 20 points. So guys, I have to admit, this is one big leg up for somebody like myself who's been in this industry a long time, been in states that have seed to sale tracking and all those kind of jumps we've had to jump through the past. So if you have nothing about this in your background, I'm going to be honest with you, think about partnering with somebody. Contact someone who's either been in those things, who's been in the cannabis industry to improve your application. You can contact us. Obviously, you can find our contact information everywhere, but this is one that I think a lot of people are going to miss out on, 20 points. And 20 points in this application can really hurt you. Okay, getting down to part 3, ability and experience of applicant in ensuring an adequate supply of marijuana. Okay, guys, I talk about this all the time. In the medical days, if you have never been in a medical state, I used to use it as called running out of sugar. A baker literally never has to worry about running out of sugar. In medical cannabis, one of your number one things is you just running out. You can't produce enough because demand outpaces supply. And so basically here is in my opinion, this 20 points literally is forcing everybody to apply to be vertically integrated, because the only real way to answer that question is, well, we're going to have a 30,000 square foot grow to supply our own location, and here's my qualifications of being a grower. So if you don't know how to grow, have never grown cannabis, and you're applying, you may want to find someone to partner with who has grown to at least lean on themselves. The other part of this is obviously the financial side of it, is where is the capital so that you're going to always be able to buy and keep cannabis on your shelves. So if you're having to buy from a third party, which, trust me, we're all going to have to do if we get a ATC there, the big thing is they want to know that you're not just trying to start up, you got $5,000, and that's going to be all the inventory you're going to carry. So measure 1 in section 3 is financing the plan. Applicants shall provide a description and evidence of all funding sources pledged to the ATC to be evaluated on transparency, suitability, and overall being adequate of funding it. So that's 20 points. So show them your financial plan. I would also really recommend in this section also including some reference or discussion of the fact that you're going to be growing it, so that you are always going to be able to make sure it's there. Now, once again, for you to be able to say that, you have to then have a location to apply for a grow. So once again, we've now just gone that you need 3 retail locations. Man, you may also need a 4th, which is your grow location. Okay, we're moving on to section 4, which is community support and participation, 20 points. So ties to the local community. Applicants shall provide a list of all owners, officers, board members, and principals that have resided in New Jersey for at least 2 years and supply proof of their residency. So guys, this one is the big, hey, if you're local and you're in New Jersey, you're literally getting 20 points for free, so make sure you do that. And I would also recommend that maybe the core part of your team can be on there. Okay, moving on. I think that one's pretty straightforward. So number 5, ability to provide appropriate research data, 10 points. Now, I think they lowered this one to 10 points because it is that kind of out there. Okay, research contributions. Applicants shall provide evidence of past contributions in the form of cited original and published works to expanding clinical and scientific research relating to medical cannabis, or the medical conditions that can be treated with medical cannabis. So most people I know that are applying are going to try and write some stuff and probably not get any points on this. If you haven't done that or don't have somebody on your team in that area, there's not a lot of advice that I can give you, except you have to find somebody who has done that to include in your company. As you can see, guys, I'm talking about this application is forcing you to realize that you need more people. You need a team to be successful, and New Jersey is definitely putting this into the thing. Now we're moving on to number 6, and this section is 100 points. So you guys have heard 20, 20, 20, 30, 10. It's now section 6 is 100 points. So listen up. Experience in cultivation, manufacturing, or dispensing marijuana in compliance with government-regulated marijuana programs. Guys, how are you if you're applying and you're in New Jersey and you have never gotten to grow, you've never gotten to do it legally? Do they expect you to apply on this? That's why I said I hope I can control my laughter and I hope you can control yours. But this is written as a joke. It is giving all the advantage to people who have been outside the state who are coming in with their experience. So guess what, guys? I'm just going to tell you the brass tacks. For us, guess what? We're getting all of our friends that have been in the industry for a long time, that have 30,000 square foot grows, who are going to be on our board of directors and are producing literal tons, not pounds, tons of weed every month in regulated states. And they're going to help us determine exactly how our grow facility is going to work out there. And so it is that important, because guess what? This section is worth 100 points. So once again, there are several measures in this section, so I'm going to go over each one of them, but I think you're hearing me as a broken record. I cannot stress enough that you cannot just be like, well, I'm really good at growing, I'm really good at manufacturing, you're going to need people on your team so you can tout their criteria and their experiences. So measure 1, cultivation plan. I'm not going to read this verbatim, but this is everything from literally how to start it to how to prevent issues, how the layout's going to be, all that kind of stuff. Number 2 is manufacturing plans. This is literally how to bring it all the way to market. Are you going to be filling cartridges? Are you going to be making edibles? What is your lab going to look like? Are you doing concentrates? And so they're including a lot of points on that. Then the dispensary plan. What's going to be your layout? What's your standard operating procedures? What is your training and hiring process? How are you going to educate patients and counsel them and do all these kind of things? And so we are highly recommending that you start working on this as soon as possible, because it literally, if you were watching this today, you should start working on it tomorrow, because it may take you a month to write all these plans out. For us, we're lucky because we've been in this. We have a lot of that documentation. Now we have to spend a lot of time putting it together, but that's one of the things. This is one of the reasons why here at Danks One Emporium, we've talked about helping people be a franchise so that they can just get access to all things that we've been building for the last 10 years. And so I'm not trying to toot our own horn too much of this, but this application just keeps lining straight up. If you need our help, you got to contact us very soon, because we're getting contacted by a lot of people and we can't even help everybody who's contacting us, just because, once again, we're having to do so much work on this. Okay, we're moving on to number 7, but I just want to make you realize everything that I talked about before section 6 literally didn't even add up to the total value of 6, if it even did. And then that was just 100 points. Think how heavy those 3 sections are. It's what's your cultivation plan, what's your manufacturing plan, what's your dispensary plan, 100 points. Huge. It's over 33 points per section. Now is area 7, which is another 100 points. Okay, guys? So we're basically 2 sections, 6 and 7, are now a total of 200 points. And let's jump into this. Workforce and job creation plan. Okay? And it's number 1, labor peace agreement, if you have one, labor compliance plan, minority-owned, woman-owned, or veteran-owned business certification, and workforce job creation plan. So those 4 sections are all broken out, and I am going to go over each point. So the labor peace agreement is 30 points. That's a huge amount of points, guys. So you got to take some time, look that up. We're working on that right now, because what we're trying to determine is, and I'll just jump to section 3, like we have minority business partners, and we have a ton of veterans who work for us and our business partners. But you don't just need to have a veteran, you need to have a certification for that. And so that takes effort to be done. So once again, guys, lots of work to go into this, and we're sitting at right around 30, 45 days as of the recording of this video. You don't just want to skip past this section and lose out on 100 points because your application is going to drop way, way down. And so, guys, with that, this section finishes out with the fees. Once again, they definitely don't want anyone missing that, how it needs to be in 2 checks, and those kind of things. So, guys, this was a long video. I hope you got something from it. We are actively working on this thing and obviously taking each section very, very seriously. I'm going to let you guys know that our application is definitely going to come in somewhere around that 98, 99 page criteria because of all these sections. And I just think that you need to take that into consideration too. If you have questions or you want to contact us and see how we can work together, please message us through our website or call us directly. Obviously, you can call any of our stores to get over to the right person. But guys, I want to wish you all the best. We're putting this information out completely for free to try and help you guys, because guess what? New Jersey needs a strong medical cannabis community. We need people like you who are willing to put in the time to watch this video, to come help people. I say we're in the changing life business. People need local access to medical marijuana. And if this is something you're passionate about and want to make your life mission, I really, really hope that you choose to take the time, energy, and effort to apply for one of these lottery slots of one of the 108, 112 new available ATC locations so that we can all build a stronger community and help a lot of people along the way. Okay, guys, see you soon.